Good morning! Another Monday morning, and today we are going to talk about an article that I read, which is opening up a very nice topic for discussion, and I think it's something that's highly interesting. So just the other day I was reading one of my newsletters that I subscribe to, and basically there was this guy on Hacker News who had posted a article about why wouldn't you choose fat binaries over Docker or containers virtually. I think that's the title anyway. As you can hear, it's highly opinionated, and I walked it through, and although I feel that he maybe have lost some of his objectivity, but God knows I have lost my objectivity in some of these videos as well, so I'll forgive him for that. He made a very interesting point, and he uses Go as the example, so of course I have to talk about it. I'm such a fanboy of that language. I hate it. I hate myself for being a fanboy because I really hope it's gonna get popular because I really like it. But anywho, the reason why I want to talk about it is because he touches on something that I find that's a very interesting point. So the thing is that if you've used Docker and Kubernetes in production like I have and I do today, you will know that although it's a very when things are set up, and you have when you have put proper time into orchestrating your environments and putting up CI pipelines using GitLab or something like that or whatever, and you have people who can maintain it, it's very nice on a day-to-day basis to work with it. But it is an absolute nightmare to maintain it because it takes a lot of effort to do so, and it's not the easiest thing in the world. Now, the thing is that this is the usual argument between the two philosophies between microservices and the monolith applications. And see, the thing is that you're solving two different problems. There's two, and basically the way that I see the issue is that when you're working with a monolithic application, in other words, you have everything in the same code base, you have the strength of easy deployments, it's easy to maintain, it's easy to reason about the system because it's just one big system. The problem with that is usually code cleanliness, like separations of concerns, and usually you get spaghetti code. Or rather, that is the argument, and that comes back to us from the old object-oriented days and Java. There's 100,000, there's so many old Java applications that are in this state virtually. And then you have microservices on the other hand is supposed to provide this separation of concern, smaller services that interact with each other and makes it easier to reason about the code, and you have all the benefits of load balancing and the resource management, all the different trendy reasons why you should go with that. The issue is that it also adds a lot of complexity to your infrastructure. And I actually made a video about this a while back, and I still think this is the case. I argue that if you pick microservices for your application architecture, and the main reason why you do so is because you want to avoid spaghetti code, then you're picking that out of the wrong reason. Because trust me, the benefits of microservices only really matters when you have a system of a really large scale, when you quite frankly don't have the resources to run a monolithic application. When that becomes a problem, that's when microservices should be your choice. But think about it, it's really weird to say that, hey, I can't write good maintainable scalable code and put it in the same code base because it gets messy. So I should just do something completely different that is really, in my opinion, intended to solve another problem, and it just happens to kind of solve this problem as well. Then I argue that your problem isn't your real problem is that you don't write better code, or that you don't structure things properly. And what's very nice about this argument, or rather this article, which talks about the fat binary, is that he was saying that he took a few examples, and it's actually one of the main reasons I think Java had a really good idea in the beginning of things. He said that, you know, back in the day when you used to bundle all your code, all your HTML, all your CSS, everything into one single jar file, the deployment was super easy. You simply copied said file into your environments. All you had to do, that was your entire pipeline. You didn't need to do anything else. And so I think that there's a lot of power in that idea, and I'm actually very excited about the possibility that the next trendy thing to do is actually, you know, if Go becomes really popular, I hope it becomes really popular because it's an amazing language. Imagine that you basically abandon this idea of distributed system, at least in the beginning, and you simply compile your entire code base into, you know, a one big binary file, because nothing is as pluggable, nothing is as loosely coupled and independent as a big binary file that you simply execute on any computer. I mean, sure, you have to build one depending on for each environment you want to run things on, but trust me, running a script once on the correct hardware, so you get the right file format or the right binary, is much less work than maintaining a big containered distributed system with Kubernetes and all of that stuff. Now, I'm not saying that you shouldn't be using Kubernetes and Docker and so forth. I mean, these are exciting technologies, but I like the idea of having this one big binary file that you simply accept. It doesn't matter if it's big. I mean, who cares if it's a big binary file? It's so much less work to have it in this format. So I think that even though it was a very opinionated position to have and not that objective, I think it made a really, really good point. And it's actually one of the reasons why it's similar to why I think Elixir is such a great language to work in as well. Elixir is probably, I still think that having if you ever asked me to pick between Go and Elixir, that would be too tough for me. I'm just a man. I don't know I can make that decision. But they also have the same idea, or rather Erlang originally had the same idea, where the Elixir code base, or the way you structure an Elixir code base, is actually optimized for having a single monolithic application that scales extremely well. And if you don't know about it, please check it out, because working in Elixir is literally like you have the benefits of creating a monolithic application, but you get microservices built in basically into the technology, which is just so powerful. So my little rant is basically about the idea that maybe maybe this idea of having a big binary file that just lives on your computer that's several megabytes big isn't such a crazy idea after all. Maybe that's a great way to actually start things off, and maybe at some point you ask yourself, is it time to scale into Docker containers? And maybe you never get to that point, because let's be fair here. There have been applications running on a single jar file for many, many, many years, really old systems, and I mean, they're probably doing pretty well still.